Getting any new drone is exciting, but drone crashes do happen, so follow this advice and make sure that this doesn't happen to you. So the DJI Mini 3 Pro, a fantastic drone, the best in its class. I love this drone, but I don't want to crash it. So follow these tips today and hopefully you won't either. Crashes, flyaways, accidents, they happen all the time. I always recommend getting DJI Refresh, but hopefully by following these tips, you won't have to use it. It's not going to be an extra expense for you. And then you don't have the inconvenience of waiting to get the drone back. Number one, let's go. So the DJI Mini 3 Pro now has obstacle avoidance sensors, something we wanted for ages on small drones like this, and we've now got it. We have front, backwards and downward sensors. We don't have side sensors. So if you're going to be flying the drone on a sideways angle, it will crash into an obstacle, it won't stop. So if you're going to be doing pans, orbits, tracking in focus track, quick shots where it's going to be on a sideways motion, you've got to be careful. In the settings, it will actually ask you, do you want to disable sideways flight? You can turn that on, then you won't be able to fly sideways altogether. Problem solved. I turn it off. I like flying sideways. I like the angles, I like the orbit shots. So because of that, I'm more cautious when doing those flights. So I won't use sports mode really in those situations. I'd use cine or normal. So just be careful whenever you're going to be flying sideways. That increases the risk of crashing this drone. Now drones are cool, aren't they? People are interested in these. So when you fly this attracts attention, and that therefore is then a distraction to you, other people, members of the public, maybe friends, people you're with. Massive distraction which can crash your drone. So how do we avoid this? So when you're flying the DJI Mini 3 compared to say the Mavic 3, this is a lot smaller and it's also quieter. This is a super quiet drone. Whereas this, when you're flying this, you will hear this in another country. This is really loud in comparison. So it's a massive advantage to this. But because it's a drone, as soon as you go to take off or you're in the air or people can see that you've got a controller, you'll be like, he's flying a drone, oh my God. So I'm not saying this is a bad point. I'm not saying be rude at all. Be polite. But you need to be understanding that you're in control of this drone. You're the drone operator, the pilot of that drone right now. So not only have you got the aspects and safety of everybody else, but you also want to protect your drone. Whereas if you're going to be having a conversation with somebody whilst you're flying it, you're increasing that risk. So say you're quite a distance away and you're doing an orbit around a statue. And you're trying to get this really nice cinematic shot. And as you're doing it, some person comes over and goes, "Hi mate, you're right. What drone is that? How far can you fly that? Can you fly it high? How high can that fly?" And you're having a conversation back with them going, "Oh yeah, it's a Mini 3 Pro. That yeah, it can go 120 meters, yeah." And then all of a sudden you go, "Oh shit, I've crashed my drone into the statue." And you've then got to go and recover it. Just because you're having this conversation, try and not be distracted. So normally a simple, "Hi, you right?" or something, or "Hi, I'll speak to you in a minute," and then concentrate, fixate on that controller or the drone. They will get the message and hopefully go away. So you can speak to them afterwards. You could speak to them once the drone's actually landed. Never let them have a go themselves because you don't know if they've got any experience or not. Would you really let someone else just hold £800-900 of your money in the hand? Probably not, no. So don't let them have a go of your pride and joy either. So it's all about having those distractions and attention that could be on you and trying to block them out so you can concentrate on the actual job at hand. And distractions with your phone as well. You're probably going to have your phone on you. If someone's calling or texting you and you answer it, you are now not concentrating flying. So you're having a conversation with somebody whilst flying the drone. You're not putting the full attention into that flight. Before you know it, you've crashed it and running off to recover it again. And then you've got to then ring DJI Refresh and say, I've crashed my drone because I was on a call to my partner who asked me what I want for dinner tonight. Sorry. Good luck with that. Now, being a Maverick with your drone is a really fast way of crashing it, but it also brings a lot of reward as well. So it's about the risk to reward basis when you're flying. So if you're a beginner, I wouldn't advise doing any of this, but once you've got some experience under your belt, you're going to want to go and fly in more riskier environments. I'm doing a full video on this coming soon, but in general, if you're going to be flying, say, under bridges, through small gaps, under things, through things, indoors, etc., these are all massive risks, but they bring a lot of reward in those shots. I love doing these, but I'll also calculate the risk as well. So what I mean by that is, if I'm flying through things, so say a cave recently, in there I'm going to have no GPS signal, so that drone isn't going to be as stable as normal. So I will do quite a few test runs, maybe 20 or 30 test flights, doing that run to make sure it actually goes well, checking the angles, make sure it looks decent. And then after all that, after all the fails, you will see the final version, which is this perfect looking shot. Did it do that first time? No way. So if you're going to be having a go at this, don't be putting it into sports mode and doing some massive fly past doing this, because you're going to crash. You've got to practice, plan ahead if you're going to be doing these more riskier shots. The return to home on this drone and all the other DJI drones is a fantastic fail-safe feature we all take for granted, but it needs to be done correctly or you will crash your drone while it's in use. So what I mean by that is, in the settings you'll have your return to home altitude. This needs to be higher than that tallest object, building, tree in the area that you're flying. If you're in a forest, it needs to be higher than that tallest tree. If you're in a city, higher than the tallest building. I'm not asking you to get a measuring tape out going, is that 20 meters, 30? Just set it higher, be on the safe side. So in the UK, we can go up to 120 meters. So I would have that set around about that if I was flying in an area where there's a load of trees, tall buildings, etc. So it's going to clear them. If it's actually going to be 200 meter high, this building, I need to be super careful around that area because I can't go higher than that. So that's something you need to really consider and maybe not fly in that area. Now there is one more thing about this drone which I haven't checked and I won't be checking, and that is if you forget to set your return to home altitude, this now has sensors on it, so it's indestructible. This will just fly and avoid all these things. You see, but I don't think it will, and I really wouldn't advise proving me wrong. So say you're flying and you've set your drone at 30 meters, you've just forgot to set it, and this drone has disconnected and it's coming back to you, but it's got to clear this 50 meter high building. Will it fly towards it in return to home mode and then see, oh, there's a building here, I'm going to increase altitude and then fly back to you and clear it? Or will it actually see the building and then go around and come back to you? I don't think it will work as smoothly as that at all. I think that's going to be another massive element to crashing into the building or the people or the buildings. Massive risk. So as part of your pre-flight checks, go through and check your return to home altitude and then just slide that up to the right hand side. Be on the safe side of this, and it's a great feature. We want this feature to be on here forever, but make sure you set it correctly. It's down to you. Whilst we're talking about the return to home, that dreaded return to home message will come on, your low battery warning. Now don't do what I've done multiple times and ignore this, because when I have ignored this, most of them times I've then had to trek into some field to recover the drone. So what this does is this calculates the distance away from the drone to you, and then it's going to say, right, I've got enough battery life now to get back to you safely. It doesn't calculate 100% the wind speeds, the environment, so I would always be on the air of caution with that as well. But when it comes on, don't ignore it and click cancel going, oh, hey, I'll just get another 5 minutes of flying, because then you will probably have to trek to get your drone. The drone probably won't make it back to you and it's going to have to be a crash landing somewhere. All risks to crashing your new shiny drone. Bring it back to you. If you've got the fly mode kit, just change the battery and put it back in, up in the air, and away you go. Or just charge it and let the drone live for another day. This drone, the Mavic 3, the Air 2S, every single drone hates twigs and branches. So the obstacle avoidance on here is fantastic. It works brilliantly. It's not as aggressive as the Mavic 3. It avoids objects smoothly and done it in a really nice way. But that said, it's not perfect. It won't really pick up really fine objects like twigs, little branches, wires. It might see them at the last very last second and then it'll stop. But twigs and branches and wires are #1 reason why this is going to crash and that obstacle avoidance isn't going to work. So if you're going to be flying through things or in an area where there's a lot of trees and branches, just be careful. It's not indestructible, this drone. If it crashes, the drone, it's not made of really hard plastic, it's going to come off pretty badly. Also, if you just look at the gimbal on the camera here, this gimbal now protrudes outwards. So this gimbal on the camera is going to take majority of the impact whenever it falls to the ground. So if this falls, especially from a distance, I don't think it's going to be good for another day. So when you're going to be flying in those areas, be super careful. No sports mode. Make sure your sensors are on. Put it into cine mode and just try and avoid them as much as you can. How fast can that drone go? How fast is it? What's its top speed? Those are questions that that person's just asked you as well. But it's a question you're going to ask yourself, and everyone loves sports mode. I do, I love it. Sports mode on here is on a lot, but it's a massive risk. So when you first get this drone, you're going to put it into sports mode and you're going to be flying. I know you are, no matter what I say. So if you want to go and test how fast this drone can go into a really open space about 30 to 50 meters in height, away from loads of different obstacles, and go and give it a blast. Then once you've done that, we can then concentrate on the rest of this video because I know you're going to do it. But don't be using sports mode low to the ground or near things, near objects, near people, near yourself. It's a massive risk because it turns all of the sensors on the drone off. It has no protection now on here. So if it's going to be flying towards something, it will just continue and crash into it. Also, because it's moving faster, it takes longer to stop. So the braking distance needs to be increased massively as well. Sports mode is a lot of fun. It's great for getting to places. It's good for helping you getting back in, say, strong winds. It's not for doing flybys over the beach at low altitudes. A feature I've been wanting for drones, and I hope they come soon, is water resistance or some kind of water resistance on here, a bit like phones. We didn't have water resistance on phones a few years ago, and now we have. They're a lot better. On drones, not at the moment. None of the DJI drones are water resistant. I have flown them in some rain and snow, and it's been fine. I got it back, wipe it off with a cloth, and it lives to tell another tale. However, I've also had it in some areas where there's been lots of really bad weather, and I've just not got it back in time, and it's died. It's not good to mix water and this. It'll fall out the sky and it's dead. Or you'll get it back and go, oh, it's actually all right, this, and then it won't turn on. So if it's raining, get it back to you as quick as you can. Until we have water resistant drones, then that's going to be a fantastic day. But at the moment, we just don't, so get it back to you. The wind resistance on here is fantastic. I'm still speechless at how good it is. I've done quite a few wind tests with this and it's brilliant, but it's not perfect. It's better than the Mini 2 and it's on par with the bigger drones like the Mavic 3, but it's not going to be all and everything, is it? You still need to be so careful in strong winds. So use an app like I do, UAV weather app. I'm not sponsored by them in the slightest, I just use them all the time. And that will tell you the wind speeds and the wind directions. So when you're flying your drone, if it's windy and it's not that bad and you want to risk it, I would fly always into the wind. So that way, once you start off and you're flying, so say all the wind is coming here, you wanted to fly it so you're actually there, so it's not far away, probably about 20 meters away from you, and just let it hover and see what it does. And is it stable? So is the drone now just here and it might move around a little bit, but if it's starting to drift backwards without you pressing anything on the sticks, that means that that drone, the GPS signal on it, isn't strong enough to keep that drone in position and the wind is actually blowing it backwards. I would then put it down on the ground, pack up and go home. It's not worth it. That means then that it's just too windy to fly. It's not worth the risks. But what about if you're in the air and all of a sudden the wind changes direction or it really becomes really strong winds and you're struggling to get it back? So this has happened to me quite a few times. Luckily not on this drone, but on other manufacturers' drones where the wind resistance or the performance, the speed of the drone isn't very good. The first thing is, don't panic. So the higher up you are, the stronger the winds. So main thing to do there is lower the altitude. But before you lower the altitude, put it into sports mode. What we just said before, a great advantage of sports mode is it increases the speed of the drone. So it's going to enable you to get through those stronger winds and get back to you. So lower the altitude in sports mode to around about 20 or 30 meters. Be careful of any buildings because no sensors. And then come back to you. And you might have to change the flight path. You might have to change the direction to avoid flying directly into the wind to get back to you. But by lowering it and continuing to get back to you one way or another in sports mode, it will happen. Just be careful. Now, flying indoors, I know this is super tempting, especially for beginners. You've got your drone, you've got it unboxed, you've charged it, you want to have a go. You don't want to go out in the garden or somewhere because you're just too afraid it's going to crash or you're not going to be all right. That's exactly what you should do. You want to go to a big open space. Don't fly it indoors. Indoors, there'll be no GPS signal. You've got loads of different places that you can crash into. So you've got you've got the big TV, you've got the kids, you've got the dogs, everything you could crash into. Don't fly indoors. So much more risk. And people have done this and they do this daily and then they crash the drone. It's a number one reason why your drone will crash, and it's flying indoors. So unless you're a really good FPV pilot or you've got loads of skill, if you're really that bored in the house, go and get a drone simulator. I use an FPV simulator called Liftoff. That's really cool. I'll fly that if it's really bad weather, or do something else. But don't fly your drone indoors, especially if you're a beginner. Landing this tiny drone, this can't be a problem, can it? But you'd be surprised at the amount of people who screw this up. They've done a really good shot, a good video, and they come back and they crash it on the landing. Don't be that guy. So you need to have a landing area that's going to be smooth, flat, quite a big open space. So it could be even like a pavement, could be part of a road, could be something where you can land it really easily. You can land it in your hand. So if you're going to be doing this, as the drone is landing and it's coming down, have your hand really smooth and flat and don't move it until the motors turn off. But if you're not, you're going to be landing it on the ground. Make sure it's not sand or gravel that's going to blow up into the motors. You don't want to be landing it on tall grass. You need to think about where you're landing this. Also, I've seen people as well that have messaged me saying they've crashed a drone because they landed it on like a wall or something higher up onto like a tower or an arch or something, and it lands on that, and then you've messed up the landing part and it actually falls and then crashes to the ground. And again, look, this is going to take all the impact. So if that's going to hit, the camera is going to take all of that impact first of all. Don't do that. Landings, they're easy, but make sure you actually plan ahead. Again, it's all on you. Don't mess it up. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I know problems happen, I know accidents happen. I've crashed drones before, but I don't want you crashing your Mini 3 Pro. This is expensive. I'm not asking you to be super strict and cautious because these things happen, but hopefully those points will maybe just remind you or give you a bit of a refresh about what not to do. Have fun with this drone. I love flying this drone. I love flying all drones. I don't love replacing them or sending them off. It's too inconvenient, it's too time consuming, and it's more expense. So if you like this video, make sure you like and subscribe would be awesome, it really helps out, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care, bye bye.